Hey, Color Beams. Thanks for joining us over here at Colorful Situations, where we're going to do a recap of episodes 1 and 2. I'm Sunny.
Hey, hey, and this is your girl Liv. And as she said, welcome to our recap show. We are going to be doing this after each episode, just kind of coming back and taking your comments, any questions that you have, and discussing it. So, the first one that we actually had was friendship dot 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 priceless. So we had a couple of comments from that. We'll chop it up and then we'll go on to the next one. So the first comment was this conversation was needed, right? This young lady that is dear to my heart, she just said that the conversation is needed and that she now is so happy that she can identify hers in her life,
Mhm.
right? Because at first she didn't know, but as she's growing up, she really know who is her support and who's not.
And it's a good thing. I talk to people outside that didn't necessarily comment, and not even just thinking about what that even looks like. They were happy to see that we were able to put it in you were able to put it in some form of HER. They were letting me know that it kind of felt good to see that they could actually put it in words, find one that's honest, encouraging, and reliable. And it's just refreshing. They really liked the topic. They
Yes.
enjoyed our back and forth.
Good, good, and that's really good to hear, right? Because it just sounds like there was a lot of people out there that had that support. So there was another person who commented, and she brought up a good point that said that her person that was honest, encouraging, and reliable didn't look like the person that she thought it would look like. Like it didn't look like somebody that was her age. It didn't look like somebody that was in the same situation or marriage that she was in. It was a single younger person who she befriended, but was still a good friend. And I can really relate to that because as my children grow up, now we are becoming good friends, right? And they're my support and I can get things from them. When I was growing up, I had an older lady who kind of was like my mentor, but she really was my hurt. She would just let me be who I was at a time where my mom really didn't want me to. So often your friends doesn't you find friendship in places that you don't think that you would have found it, you know?
Yeah, it's those people that don't look like you. They may not have the same skin tones, the same hair. They may not be the same socioeconomic status. Just all of these things, you just cannot put people off in thinking about those things and just knowing that it's possible that they could offer something from their heart to you, you know. So,
Sure.
yeah.
For sure. And that just brings me back to a little story time that I would like to share. Just a teensy bit. My friend, she decided to tell y'all about us and a little bit about how our friendship started. And me and Sunny actually connected, and then we didn't connect for a while, right? It was like, hey, and then it was gone. But mostly, I will say it was me that at the time that we actually was trying to link up together. I had two jobs. I was trying to make sure my mom was coming to live with me, make sure everything was good, and timing was just off. There was a lot that I had going on. But Sunny really tapped back in and did not let me go. Now I don't know what it was that made her just keep reaching out, but she did. And the second time around that we linked up, it was like, aha, like you get me, you want to get me, you want to know me. It's not about how I look, who I am, what I'm doing. Um, she was just very welcoming to just get to know Liv. And then over time, I could just take my shoes off. I could just take whatever off and just be Liv with her. And she has always, always been encouraging to be like, wait a minute. Don't second guess yourself. Don't sell yourself short. Like she is really pushed me to let me know that everything that I got in here is okay and it's good. So I just, think that you can pick up friendships. And if it's your real true person, it ain't going to take much.
Yeah.
It'll just happen.
So I want to just say really quickly, I am a woman of few words. So that's, but for me, I think that I may have mentioned that at this time of my life, when my wife and I were looking for a couple of friends, that I was going to be intentional
Mm.
about finding a friend, finding a couple friends for us
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
I felt like we needed it.
Mm.
And it's good to have people in your corner. It's good to have a support system. It's good to have someone that you can talk things out, that you can run things by, that you can take trips with. You can go and have dinner and things like that. So that's
Yeah.
a part of the reason that I continue to reach out is because I was being intentional and I said I was gonna see it through and I did, and now we're here. Thanks, colorful situations.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love it. So our next topic that we talked about was even exchange. And this one, I don't know how y'all felt about this topic. We loved it. She cracked me up. I knew it was gonna be a good one because I knew how I felt about it, but I also knew how she felt about it. So that little pull and little like when she's looking at me and looking at turning her face up like, girl, that's truly how our friendship is. You know what I mean? And um, so even exchange was a good topic. Uh, for me, just watching it back, I do feel like it is something that can happen. But I do also truly in my heart feel like it is something that kind of brings a little gap or resentment when you're trying to match what the other is doing. So that's just kind of where I was coming from because I knew the experience that I had with that whole even exchange or with, you know, it just really didn't end up well for me. But there are some relationships that can work that way if that's what you want, So I'm glad that we were able to share both of our sides because there are some people out there that need what I said, but there are some people out there that needed what you said too.
Yeah, and I just think that not even exchange doesn't necessarily have to be tit for tat. Because ultimately, if you think
Uh,
about it, it is tit for tat. And thinking, tit for tat has that negative connotation to go with
yeah,
it. So it's not just that, it's just us both getting and giving what we want and need.
yeah.
And if it's 50, if it's 50-50, or if it's 70, it
60,
balances it.
40.
It
Mm-hmm.
balances itself out. And if no one is keeping score, then
Mm,
you won't even know that it's an even exchange, because if I'm getting what I need and you're getting what I need and you're getting what you need, I'm sorry, and nobody is keeping score, and we could just go on forever just doing
yeah,
like I said in the show, we loving each other. I'm trying to outlove you, you trying to outlove me.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I did have someone off of the topic though really love the color wheel or the feeling wheel. So if that is something that you like, please use it as a tool. We're going to be using it as a tool and putting it on there. It is really important to identify how you truly feel, know where it's coming from. Um, and so it really helps me in my personal life to just say, hey, this is how I'm feeling, and really take some ownership of how I feel, right? Because sometimes, or I have found in the past, where I would just say, I'm feeling hurt, but I wouldn't express it. I would just walk around with a smile on my face and, act like it really, that hurt wasn't there. But over time, it just built and built and built and built until I just became a loose cannon, which, by the way, may or may not be a topic. But you know, it it you have to talk about it. So I'm glad that you all are seeing that and using it using it as a tool.
Yeah. And on my end, I've never had a problem saying how I feel,
Yeah.
But what the feeling wheel has done for me is giving me the tool to figure out, is it really mad? Am I really
Uh-huh.
or is it something else? Or am I really um feeling scared or is it really something else
Anxious.
that
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So it's helpful to me in that way.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. We do want to remind you and let you all know. Um, please put it in the comments. Talk, you can ask us the questions about us. You can put a colorful situation that you want to talk about. Like, tap into the comments. This is a interactive show. So you, yes, you, Color Beams, are a part of this show. So please interact with us.
We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your feelings, your opinions, good, bad, and the ugly. Okay? Y'all can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify, all at Colorful Situations.
Yes. And remember, not all colorful situations are the same, but you have the power to change your hue.